Welcome, everybody. My name is Bob Babbitt. This is Breakfast with Bob. We're in beautiful Nice, France. We are brought to you by Velofix, Polar, UCAN, Active, Premium Plus Sports Travel, Le Siecle Restaurant at Hotel West End. Our guest, the Ricky Bobby of triathlon. We're talking 18 times a winner, 13 times second place, 61 times first off the bike, Mr. Andrew Starykowicz. Round of applause for our main man, Andrew. Love, man. How you doing,
Thanks,
Andrew?
Bob. I'm frustrated.
You don't have your bike?
No. I've been here 2.5 days, and I understand that many of my competitors consider it a weapon of mass destruction.
It is.
But, it doesn't mean that they need to hold it at the airport or in security or wherever they've held it for 2.5 days.
I heard that Javi Gomez and Alistair Brownlee have your bike and are holding it for ransom.
It's probably a good idea for them. It's probably a good idea for them. So it's
Have
been,
you even seen the course?
No. I've been on the phone with Aer Lingus. Literally, you don't realize how much time gets sucked out of your day when you don't have your baggage. It's 20-minute call. It's 20 minutes every 2 hours. 20 minutes every 2 hours that you're on the phone with them. You're trying to get it, and it's not just like it's like morning, noon, and night. It's sucked. It's other than my normal getting injured in July, and I had a 2 weeks off after Steelhead because I just raced too hard there, but it was worth it because I won.
You won, yeah.
Yeah, so
that made that 18, by the way.
Yeah, that was 18.
17,
yeah, wire to wire again. 2 times in 3 years that I've gone wire to wire on that course. So it's when you come to the Midwest, man, and you come to my house, it gets tough.
Yeah,
but no, I've been on the phone just continuously, and it's just been it just gets frustrating, and it's like all your preparation is perfect, and then you get here, and now it's supposed to be the time that you kick back, you relax, and it's like, okay, it's time to let the fury unleash, and it's been just FUCK, man.
Right, but one thing that keeps you calm is your mom is racing.
Yeah, she got her spot at Steelhead, and it's.
Have you raced with your mom before?
Oh, we've raced for a lot of years, but
Really?
never at a world championship.
That's very
so.
cool.
We went to our first world championship that I got to do in 2004, age group world championships in Madeira Island, Portugal.
Yeah.
So my mom came with me to that one, and now I'm bringing her along for this one. So it's and it's funny because Rudy was saying that he was 5 years old in 1998, and I'm like, I was driving in 1998. So 2008 was my first half Ironman World Championship, and I was like one of the youngest guys in the room when it came to the pro meeting, and now I'm like, I'm looking at the list, and
citizen.
I'm like,
Come on.
I'm like, geez, man, this short stuff is gonna hurt.
So does this course? You haven't seen the course yet.
No, I haven't. I've seen it on paper.
But you are obviously the premier cyclist in the sport. So for you, this course is straight up and then technical on a down. That's good for you, right?
I haven't seen it yet. I would like to say yes, hopefully,
because you're a good climber.
But the other thing is, I'm a flatlander. I live in the Midwest. I don't see hills. I could fake a hill. But mountains in a race, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I got to lug these legs up a hill or a mountain.
But then you take them down the hill.
Well, yeah, I can take them down a hill probably
faster than anybody.
Maybe, I don't know. I haven't really competed ever in mountains or anything beyond a 600-foot hill, and that's 5 of these stacked on top of each other.
Yeah. Now, for a lot of folks, the racing is a huge part of their life, and obviously it's a huge part of your life.
Yeah.
But what you've been going through for the last couple of years in terms of getting run over by a truck and basically back broken, leg broken, turning your life around, then
if we go through that, you look at it, it was basically, everybody talks about Kona for their 30s, for their 30s. My first Kona, 2012 or 2013, I was 31 years old.
Right.
And I'm thinking, I got 7 or 8, 9 shots at this, right? And then all of a sudden I go through, I have hip surgery and I get back and broken leg and all this stuff that I went through. All of a sudden now here I am coming towards the end of my 30s, and I had my welcome back to Kona, which was very, if you pick a day to have a bad day, don't pick the day of a world championship. I wouldn't recommend it. It really, everybody's like, you were leading, you were in second place. Yeah. And I was like, yes. But, I'm sitting there, I'm I'm fighting on the bike. I'm fighting the bike. And it's like when I ride the bike, when I call it riding the bike versus fighting the bike. And I spent the day fighting the bike.
This is last year.
Yeah, at Kona. And it was just, I was fighting the bike all day. And finally, it's just like, you know what? I'm looking at the splits. I see there's no wind. We got to Javi. There was absolutely no wind. The group was riding very well together. All the spotters that I had out there were telling me, that pretty much I was screwed because they were just, we all saw it.
You couldn't get away.
Not that you even couldn't get away, that they were organized and working. They were working like a well-oiled machine.
Right. Staying within the legal parameters, but they were staying together and you couldn't make as much ground up as you'd like.
Well,
even though
if it's within the legal parameters, then we need new rules.
Right,
but that's, we can discuss that all day long. But I got to a point in the race where it's like, okay, if you're like a race car driver or you're, racing a horse or something, you're doing damage to, a machine but you're not doing damage to yourself. And and at Kona, you could do a lot of damage, especially on the hot part of that run. And I got, 2/3 of the way through the bike and I'm looking, the gap is nowhere close to what it needs to be for me to be successful.
Right.
And, I just start looking at the whole situation. And I'm like, you know what? In 2 weeks, there's 70.3 Waco. And
so you start thinking about the other races?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, if I pull the plug now at like mile 70, mile 80, you know what? I can coast this in. I'm going to finish the race. And then I can lay it all on the line at Waco. And when I told my coach, he was just, he didn't know what to, he was very frustrated at the time. But, he says as I slowed down, I told him basically what was going on. And he was like,
it's probably a good move.
He couldn't say anything in that time because here I am, I'm rolling by 18 miles an hour and he's running along the road probably at 10 or 12 miles an hour. So, I pretty much, it was the whole, the favorite type of communication, with, whether it be your wife or who it is, it's like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Bye. So, I got that and I just, I rolled off but you know what? The thing is, if you do that, you better freaking win Waco, Texas.
Exactly.
And I did.
You won Waco, okay.
But it was only by 12 seconds. So it's a good thing I pulled.
Doesn't matter.
Well, it's a good thing I pulled the plug at mile 70 or 80, not 90 or 100, because that might have been the energy that was the difference between winning and losing.
Did you still run the marathon?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I ran it. I walked most of it.
Yeah.
I got to catch up with Tim Don. I did most of it with Tim Don, and it was interesting. We spent 2 hours together out there.
Well, and here you are coming back from a broken back. Here he is coming back from a broken neck.
Right.
And just both of you probably, it'd be nice just to be here.
The funny thing is we never even really talked about the sport of triathlon. And we picked up Will Clark along the way. And all we talked about was family, kids, what we're doing in the off season. And, both of us are seasoned veterans, or all three of us are seasoned veterans. We've been around the sport forever. And it was cool to catch up and spend time with them because so often with many of our competitors, it's just 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. Hey, what's up? And you're more acquaintances than ever friends.
Right.
And it was good to be able to spend that time, especially with Tim, and catch up.
So while you're going through your recovery,
yes,
your little boy Xander's born.
Right.
And you're in bracing. You got back brace on. You got all sorts of stuff going on, and your little boy has an epileptic seizure right in front of you.
Yeah, his seizures are not like the traditional grand mal seizures.
It's just not visual.
Right. His he stops breathing.
Right.
And so, it was one of those, when you go through CPR training, which, being an Eagle Scout, going through lifeguarding and all that stuff that I've gone through, you basically, they tell you when there is an infant that turns color.
Right.
You're pretty much screwed. Like the chances of bringing them back and them not having long-term issues or bringing them back period is very low percentage. And the fact that we were able to do that multiple times with my son, and we're just, more than blessed underneath the sun. And still today, he's the only one that. He's the only one in the world. So he's like not one in a bit. He's like a 1 in a trillion type thing, where he's gone through this and survived. Because most of the other cases, there's a lot of other things, whether it be, there's a lot of other medical conditions wrong. This is his sole medical condition. And so most of the time that these kids his age have whatever this condition is that he has, they usually end up as a SIDS stat.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, it took them, and that's why it took them 3 months to figure it out what it is, because there's nobody, they've never seen it.
Yeah.
They've never seen it. I mean, we went to multiple hospitals, saw, the best doctor, the best pediatric neurosurgeon or neurodoctor in the world said, he doesn't have that. But, and then, also the other thing, going back to Kona last year is 2 weeks before Kona, we found out that my son had to have brain surgery. And it's like, you want to throw a monkey wrench into your race plan. I mean, I couldn't train for like 3 or 4 days afterwards because I just felt so bad. It was one of those where you get, I was in the doctor office, right? And they're like showing, this is how, this is what it's supposed to be. And he's showing this. And I'm standing there behind my wife and the neurosurgeon. And then all of a sudden I'm across the room with my back against the wall sweating. And the next thing I know, I'm sitting on the floor sweating and the world's starting to go like this.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's one of those, it was right before Kona. And it was just like another thing that just like this weekend, it's just like you get the training goes so well all the way up to the end, and then all of a sudden, you throw a big monkey wrench, like not getting your bike, but compared to last year,
I was going to say, compared
to last year at Kona, this is easy. This is easy. So, but I've dealt with lost bikes before. Actually,
Yes.
I won a race in Westchester Triathlon years back, and I got my bike at 3:30 in the morning. I put it together, and in the start of the race was 6:30 a.m. So, this isn't old news for me.
The race isn't until Sunday. Come on, this is like Thursday.
Yeah.
You got plenty of time.
Yeah, I mean,
love it.
Might impinge me being able to see the course.
You don't need to see the course. You'll be leading the course.
I hope.
I love it.
I hope. I got some catching up to do with these ITU guys after the swim. I mean, as I've gotten a more seasoned Ironman guy, this swim has become, more of a
you're a fast
formality.
swimmer.
I used to be a fast swimmer.
Right.
Now it's just like as I get older, it's just like I just watch those seconds tick away. I mean, I'm like. Now it's like I look at sets. I mean, I pull a lot of sets from my book that I wrote years back, and I pull sets, and I have notes in my book that of this is the time that I've gone. This is the time, and I look 5, 6. Actually, now that I've written the book, I wrote it in 2012, and 5 years ago I was doing the sets, and they were 2-3 seconds 100 faster, and now I'm like, God, I'm getting slow in my old age. So, but I mean, it's interesting because as you get older, there's nothing I haven't done really in training wise. You talk to a lot of these young guys, it's like, they want to try this or they want to try that. I've tried it all. I've tried it all. I've been around the block so many times. Right. And if it doesn't work the first time, don't throw it out. Hold on to it because, as you age, your body changes, and you doing the same thing over and over isn't going to breed more success. I mean, my coaches and I really like to do what we call kick the pendulum. So we'll train one way, maybe more of an endurance threshold type stuff, sub-threshold, and then we'll go super threshold for 6 months.
Right.
And really focus on super threshold, and then we'll work on super high intensity, and we just keep kicking the pendulum because you got to keep the body, because so many times you see the guys, they do the same routine over and over and over, and it works for a while, and then all of a sudden they stall out. And I think that's one of the things that have bred our success over the years is that we've kicked the pendulum so much that the body just keeps, improving, and we're squeezing everything we can out of this old thing.
I love it. Hey, you okay if we bring your mom up for a second?
Yeah, come on up, Mom.
Sue, how about a round of applause for Starkey's mom? Sue, who's racing here? Put Andrew between. Okay.
She's my daughter's favorite number, 222.
Oh, 22. So is this pretty exciting?
It's very exciting.
Racing with your son. Obviously, you've done a lot of that, but is a world championship?
Oh, yeah. It's pretty over the top for me because I basically am an amateur and always have been. And as we started in the year 2000 together, and back then, the very first race we did, Andrew, it was his first race, my first race. He finished second. I finished second to last. So at that point, I knew he was going to compete, and I was going to complete.
That's very cool. So what makes your son so special?
Wow. That's a loaded question. I would say he has the ability to persevere through any situation. When he was talking about his son, and there's a lot of things that get me very emotional.
Yeah.
But you know, he's been through a lot. When he had his accident, being run over by the truck, I think that was probably a difficult time for our family as well. And when you talk about the full gamut of emotions, is that, you know, we're calling everybody, hey, come to the hospital, because we didn't know his situation. And my other son, his brother, calls me back and says, hey, Mom, am I coming to say goodbye to my brother? And at that point, we didn't know.
Oh.
So it was pretty bad. So, but thankfully, he is perseverant. Everything that he's gone through, he's done amazing. And, you know, it's not just the injuries and everything like that. It's just the just sticking with the sport, because he wasn't the traditional triathlete from the very get-go.
Right.
I mean,
He's a little bigger guy.
Yeah, a bigger guy. I mean, and if you read all the press, eventually he would say, Mom, don't read it. Because I would start to get,
She wrote multiple emails to Dan Emfield, you
Yeah.
know, early on, being like, cut him a break.
well, they were giving credit to the other people, and Andrew
Yes.
deserved credit.
He
So
deserved credit.
I was that mom.
I love it. I love it. Well, you guys are both going to have a lot of fun on Saturday. On Sunday, well, you're Saturday, so you'll be out there cheering.
Yes. I'll be
And
there.
you'll be looking for your bike.
Yes. I
You can always use your mom's bike.
Use my mom's bike.
I love it. I love it.
It's a proper bike brand, so you know.
You're right, it's the right bike.
It's the right bike. So
love it.
it's maybe a little small, but you know.
How about a round of applause for Sue and Andrew Starykowicz? Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, Bob.
Always a pleasure, baby. All right, we will be right back.